I signed an executive order banning men from playing in women's sports. Many Democrats are fighting me on that. I hope you continue because you'll never win another race. And it's just crazy. If you look at what happened with the boxing, if you look at what happened with the weightlifting numbers, where a record that hadn't been broken for 19 years got shattered. But, they put up an eighth of an ounce here, an eighth of an ounce there, and it's 218 pounds or whatever, a lot. And hadn't been broken in 19 years. And then guy walks up who transitioned. He transitioned. And he knocked out that record by about 100 pounds.
See, I want to have to look into that because I want to fact check that first to see, because they like to exaggerate. They all do it, and I'm sure it was by a lot, because we as biological males, we most assuredly have an advantage physically over biological women. I mean, it's just a given. You have this instance, and you have two others that have happened, where one was this one woman who transitioned running a 400 meter, who actually was 3 seconds, I think 3 seconds slower than before she transitioned. As a male, she ran at 3 seconds faster. But as a female, it's 3 seconds slower, and was still obliterating the female records, just slaying them. Leah Thompson, I think it's Thompson or Thomas, before she transitioned, was ranked like 230, 260 something in the world as an Olympic swimmer, or as a professional swimmer, and then transitions to a woman and starts just obliterating these records and winning these medals and stuff. It's obvious. That's why men don't compete against women as adults. I understand kids, it's different, but that's why you don't do that. Then you have the boxer he's going to talk about, where that woman, after getting hit a couple of times, was like she was done. She's like, I've never been hit that hard. It's a professional boxer. So I mean, there's a definitive line that should not be crossed, and I hate that it has to be that way, but at the same time, it's logical. It's a rational stance. It isn't, being transphobic or anything like that. It's literally being logical and rational. Men are stronger and faster than women, hands down, 99.9% of the time. That's legit. So, you get upset by it if you want. There's nothing you can do about it. It's facts. These are facts. It's proven time and time again. Now, there's going to be instances, obviously, where a man who's transitioned to a woman gets their asses handed to them by other women. Obviously, they're going to have those times, but more times than not, that's not going to be the case. That won't be the case, which is also stages the argument for gender affirming care before puberty starts, because that will help to quell that, as far as the male testosterone building the muscle mass and bone density and stuff like that. But I still am not a proponent for that at kids that young of age, because a lot of them don't know. They don't have a clue who they are, what they are. And I know this from, I've witnessed this personally, and I've seen the process that takes, from little bitty to adult, and the teenage phase, like 15, 16 years old. That time frame is a lot better. I don't agree with the 19-year-old cutoff either that Trump's placed on this, or trying to place on this, for gender affirming care. I think it's straight BS. But 14, 15, 16, that's a good place, I think, mentally, emotionally. And kids aren't going to have sex change operations. It's not happening. It's not going to happen. You have to go through a psychological evaluation for that to take place. And I've known grown ass people who fail it, because you are literally redefining your physical form, which can have negative and adverse results psychologically and emotionally. It can happen. It can break you down. because you can't go back. You can't turn back time. You can't change it. That's just how it'll be forever. So you better be damn sure that's what you want, and that you're correct in what you feel that you are, But anyways,
That will be a record not going to be broken again in a long. So we put a ban on it, and to protect women. I mean, the women. If you watch the Olympics, you had two transitioned people that were fighting in the women's boxing. They have women's boxing category. And if you saw that, it was brutal. What happened to the Italian woman was a really good boxer. After one punch, she said, no more. I've never been hit. It was a left. It was not even it was just a left jab. She got hit so hard, she said, I can't do it. They forced her to go out. No, go out again. You'll do it. Goes out again, gets hit again. No, that's it. She didn't want to die, and it's crazy. But the NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine?
Down here,
Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
Well, we are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one.
okay, this is always. I see people all the time talking shit on social media platforms and stuff about this. This is what they ought to do to Trump. This is what they. First of all, they have thrown everything, including the jail cell at this man. It didn't work. I mean, they built their cases on piles of sand, anyways. So, I'll get into that later if I decide to make a video on that stuff. But the thing that they constantly forget about this man is he doesn't care. He has no F's to give. Period. Zero, none. So you try to buck against him, it's not going to pan out very well, especially since, this is his second time in the White House. He has the House and the Senate and essentially the Supreme Court. Now, granted, they are blocking him on things, and I think they should. He most assuredly should have speed bumps, guardrails, things to slow his roll down because what we don't need is the snowball effect happening and things getting more insane than they already are. I mean, he did, after all, rename the Gulf, which I think it's hilarious. I think it's absolutely hilarious because I honestly don't care. I don't care what the name of that body of water is. It has nothing to do with my trajectory in life, as it doesn't with anybody else. I can understand the Mexican people being upset by it a little bit because it was the Gulf of Mexico, and it's petty. It's petty and childish. But something else about Trump too. That's just him. I mean, he's a pampered businessman and has been wealthy. I'm assuming his entire life. I don't know I know he's been rich forever. So. Oh, good Lord. People just don't think about it. You cannot push back on this guy like this, especially with how well he did in the election and the botched assassination attempt that he survived. And he has a mandate from the people and, according to him, a mandate from God. So, good luck. And that's what I mean, straight up. The governor of Maine, she's obviously not paying any attention to what's happening. To all these other ones, these governors and these mayors that are trying to get into a territorial pissing contest with Donald J. Trump. It does not work. You're the one that's going to end up pissed on. Period.
And enjoy your life after governor, because I don't think you'll be in elected politics. Every state has a responsibility to comply with Title IX. They have an obligation, a legal obligation, and we'll be enforcing aggressively, and we're going to be protecting our citizens. We're going to protect. So just to end...
So let mean, as I was saying, Trump's going to do whatever the hell he wants. I mean, that's case in point. He's going to push his agenda as far as he can go with it, and I mean, he's doing what he knows is going to work the best, is throwing so much, and they've spoken on this on multiple different venues and stuff. But he throws so much at them that he expects some of it to fail. So I mean, this is not one thing he's going to fold on though. This is one of his top priorities for sure. But I did look up some of the things he was talking about, like the male power lifter that was transgender. Actually, the record was held by a transgender powerlifter from Canada, and this man entered the competition. Hold on, a bunch of stuff pop up here. I'm doing this extremely low budget. But anyways, it said a bearded powerlifter entered a women's competition in Canada and smashed a record held by a trans lifter who was watching. Avi Silverberg, the head coach of Team Canada Powerlifting for more than 10 years, entered Saturday's Heroes Classic tournament in Lethbridge, Alberta, after identifying as a female. He walked up and casually bench pressed 370 pounds, beating the current Alberta women's record by almost 100 pounds. That record, 275, was held by transathlete Anne Andres, who was seen watching Silverberg while volunteering at the event. Andres also holds the Alberta women's record for deadlift at 544 pounds, giving her the local record for the total of 3 lifts, lifting a combined 1,245 pounds. The translifter won 8 of 9 competitions entered in the women's category over the last 4 years, Icons said. Okay, yeah, I went on to read it, and it was basically, he was making a mockery of how their rulings there did not prevent him from just showing up and saying, hey, I'm a girl, I'm a woman, I want to compete. And they let him do it. I mean, he's very much a man. He's not even transgender. He was just doing it to prove a point. It said the CPU's trans policy states that an individual should be able to participate in the gender with which they identify and not be subjected to requirements for disclosure of personal information beyond those required by cisgender athletes. So it's fair. It's fairness. I get that. I understand. That's definitely equality in that respect. It also states, nor should there be any requirement for hormonal therapy or surgery, so they don't have to be transitioned. So that's how this man was able to come up and do this at this competition. However, the union's competition registration policy states that a competitor's government-issued photo identification, excluding youth lifters, must be verified during the weigh-in or equipment check, including date of birth, province, and gender at all competitions. It is unclear if Silverberg presented a government-issued ID identifying him as a female or was required to. So let's see. They repeatedly try to reach out to this transgender one that did hold the record. And they tried to reach out to Silverberg, and he did not immediately agree to request to be interviewed. But down here it says, either way, according to Icons, what Avi so obviously points out is that policies allowing men access to women's sports completely remove any integrity in women's competitions. It doesn't, however, or it doesn't matter how Avi expresses himself or perceives himself. He clearly does not belong in women's sport, and neither does any other male, regardless of their motivation for wanting to participate. Silverberg, who is also an online coach and powerlifting columnist, has not directly addressed the competition. Let's see. I actually care about women in sport because I am a woman in sport. What's that? Hold on. I think I skipped ahead. Oh, however, Andres posted a series of lengthy video responses calling him a coward and a bigot with malicious intent. Still in one clip, she openly admitted that maybe my participation isn't necessarily fair. You know, there's science, whatever. This is where the issues come into play. Because I looked up the other two athletes also and pulled up some of their information. But I mean, even Anne, Miss Andres, is admitting that it may not be entirely fair that she gets to compete because she is transgender, going against biological women. So let's see. So something else I looked up was Leah Thomas's records. Now it did show that she had been beaten by a woman in competition, or a couple of women, and she doesn't rank 100%. She doesn't rank in first place on everything, but the vast difference of Leah Thomas. I keep saying her last name wrong, and I apologize for that. Leah Thomas. Let's see. It was crazy because she went from ranking from like 3 and 400 in certain events in swimming, and was up to like 8th and 6th place in the world as far as her ranking goes. When she started competing with biological females. So I was trying to find where I found that at. I should have been a little more organized with this, and I do apologize with it. I had the perfect article. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not. Oh, here we are. I think this is it. Moved the ranking moved. Let's see, in the 500-yard freestyle. Ranked from 65th to 1st on the women's team. From 554th on the men's team to 5th on the women's team in the 200-yard freestyle. That's a major increase. It's still more proof, that there are there's physical advantages with biological males, in regards to competing with biological females. The bottom. Hopefully, they'll find a way at some point to be able to, merge the two together where transgender can compete, and there's some way that they find through science and through the study and all of the transitioning, and finding the right time for the transitioning to happen, to where it doesn't play a major role. The genetics doesn't. And this will be a thing of the past. It's just not there right now. That's not a reality we live in, and yeah, it's a very touchy subject, and it's going to take some time and a lot of effort to work through it. Obviously, so it's just I just hate it. I hate that we have to be at odds on so many issues, on so many levels, and it's like the ones that are supposed to help to unite us are the ones that are causing the divides. They're emphasizing in just outlining or creating these wedges that don't exist. At least not to the degree that they're making a mountain out of a molehill. Let's just say it that way. This is the old country saying. Because I know what it was like when I was a kid. I know what it was like when I was growing up and in my early 20s and 30s, and you know, I know a lot of people I had a lot of friends that were gay, a couple that were trans. It wasn't as prevalent then. There were a lot of people out about it then, obviously, but a lot of people were gay and openly gay, especially in the neighborhood I grew up in. There's a lot of gay couples, gay and lesbian couples there. And it was nothing. I mean, that's nothing. That's commonplace. They're human. They're other people, you know. And I've always believed that that's just how they were born. I was born heterosexual. They were born homosexual. No different. No different. And the trans mentality and the way of feeling, you know, I can't speak on it because I'm not trans. I'm not going to claim to know what it's about. I have very close ties to the trans community. So I do have quite a bit of insight to it, but I can't speak on it personally. But I mean, I do understand logic, and I do understand child rearing when it comes to major life issues or life decisions. Not really issues. I mean, I guess it could be an issue to a certain extent, but these massive choices that sculpt your entire existence, you know, that should not be put in the place of children's hands. You know, that's why they need their parents there to help decide. But either way, it shouldn't be the government's place to decide. Period. Ever. That should be, you know, we are born with the ability to self-govern, and with the exception of a few, you know. But anyways, either way, going against Trump is a bad idea, you know, and these people are going to learn. They have obviously forgotten. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you like, share, and subscribe. Please like, share, and subscribe to this video. I will continue to beg until my numbers get up, and then I'll probably still continue to beg. Have a good night. Thank you.